All right, what up, fam? We are now live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Natalie is coming in on
Dun, dun,
Instagram. So, guys, like and share this feed for a Boss Up Talks episode 61. All right, there you go, Natalie. All right, guys, like and share this feed. What up, Brittany? What up, fam? We're going live. Like and share this feed. This is another week of Boss Up Talk Wednesday. Natalie's coming on with me. There you go. All right, there we go, fam. You coming in. All right, guys. Look, guys, like and share this feed on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Excited for another week of Boss Up Talk Wednesday, episode 50. No, sorry, 61. There you go. What's up? All right, so I'm so excited, Natalie, because first off, we're gonna start with the good news. Natalie just scored her first. I don't know if I say the number, but the first of this number, first 4K client. There we go. Uh, and as you guys know, we talk about consistency. We talk about being diligent about what you do. We talk about really going forth and staying true to your calling, because when you have clarity and you have purpose of what God has called you to do in your gifting, it becomes a consistent level of growth. Now, is it always the same? No, but what we're talking about today is staying the course. All right, so Natalie, I just want you to jump into it because you've been staying the course with your coaching for quite a few years, but especially this last year, you have been very, very intense. All right, so give the background story on your journey of consistency and staying true to the staying the course. Mm-hmm. 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 That's dope. That's dope. But you know what though? I think the beautiful part about that part is you have been consistent. You know, a lot of times too is I feel as though can you still not hear us, Angela?
That was me. I was mute on YouTube and all that stuff.
Or oh, okay, okay. Sorry about that, Angela. We're good now. Um, the thing about all of this is, So oftentimes we want to get success, we want to reach these goals, we want to make things happen, but we never actually think about the work that's involved in there. Like, yes, faith is good, manifesting is good, but there's also a point about faith without works is dead. So you got to figure out what the work part is for your business. For some people, the faith part is actually learning how to believe that the manifestation can happen. For some people, the work is me actually being diligent about what I say I'm going to do. So, for example, if I say I'm going to, let's say my goal is to reach $10,000 in sales a month. What does that activity look like? It's great to want things, but how do I produce the appropriate activity to achieve those goals? What I realize is that for myself is I thrive off consistency, right? For me, I also have friends who are consistent. So doing this podcast with Natalie every week helps me be more consistent. There's one thing that's going to be consistent. I know that one thing that's going to happen every single week is going to be Boss Up Talk with Natalie, right? Because we've trained ourselves to be consistent. We made ourselves accountable to say, hey, this is what we want to do. So what does it look like? Now, what happens is when it comes to what we plan or what we uh, want to do in our life, you have to choose what is the level of intensity is going to take for me to stay the course. The reason why a lot of us don't experience levels of growth and manifestation is not because we're not good enough, but we're not good enough at doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. Sometimes being repetitive, it's like sometimes when a parent is saying to you, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? And I can remember things that my mom would say to me so often about what did I do, is because it wasn't that she was just trying to nag me. She wanted me to reach a certain level of success in those areas because she knows that when you finish this product, this is going to be the result. And sometimes when it comes to our personal life, we have to get to the point where we're consistently staying on top of ourselves to make sure that we get the job done. If you don't get the job done, you have to check, what am I doing in my everyday life to not complete the course or not to get to that level?
And you know what? I definitely agree with you about being connected to someone or a partner or business partner who is consistent. And same with you. Like, I knew I could not, because I have never before did a podcast and lasted this long, y'all. This is the first Boss Up Talks is the first podcast that I've gone for over a year, and I have tried it before, and I knew I had it in me, but I needed to partner and anchor myself with someone who was just as consistent, even more than I was. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm consistent to a point, but I needed somebody to help me dig deeper and go further. And Chef J was exactly that type of person, because I remember him saying, we got to do this every week. And initially, because this is how I'm wired, I'm excited about that stuff. But as time goes on, especially for visionaries, when it doesn't become exciting and it becomes taxing, we want to quit. But Chef
Mm-hmm.
J would not let me quit. And so now with that, I had to retrain my brain, because I don't want to show up and be, pulling him down, especially emotionally or motivationally. I want to be able to uplift and add to the conversation and add to the topic. So I had to retrain myself to really go the distance. And so partnering with someone who wants to go the distance helped me in those spots where I just be like, I don't want to do it no more. I want to quit, or not today. Can we take a 3-month break? And Chef J, like, no, you get 2 weeks. Let's go. Like, you have to connect with those type of people, and you have to be willing when someone else is tired. You got to be willing to pick up the slack, because we
Yeah,
all can't just say, you know what, I'm going to be the only one that falls and gets tired. The other person has to be saying, you know what, I know how consistent you are. We can do this. Let's try to make it work. Let's figure it out. And
definitely.
I think that collaboration really helps pushing you further when you can only do so much by yourself.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think I had to learn it the most because for me, I've always been used to people low key just not meeting the standard and just kind of let me down with certain things. So I've been a person for years like, oh, I'll just do it myself. And even though that you can get the stuff done by yourself, it's always good to really find partnership because the right partnership will elevate you to the next level. Like there's no successful person could say I did it by myself. No matter what they tell you, they had help along the way. Whether it was encouraging word, whether it was someone to see your business, whether it's your staff with your clients buying from you. You need someone to support your vision along the way to make it work. And once you get that ego, so so funny. I'm not sure you remember the show Hollywood Divas. It was a show like back like 10 years ago with Countess Vaughn. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I've been binge watching it for like the last 24 hours. And the cool part about it was, they all had the same goal or the same idea, but they all had different ways of seeing how it's going to work. And a lot of times, when you don't really take time to build clarity with what project you're working on, you will allow distractions to come because no one has clearly identified what is the main goal. So when it comes to staying the course, you got to think about it. So if I'm choosing to stay the course, what does that look like for me? And once I communicate that to my circle, it becomes easier for people to really motivate me the appropriate way I need to be motivated. For example, is I let my friends know what's going on with me. Like I'll talk to Natalie about something. Like, hey, Natalie, this is what I'm working on, and I know going forward until I meet my quota, my friend is going to check on me about, hey, what's going on with that. For example, before we got in this phone conversation, me and Natalie had a conversation about what we spoke about something from last week. Hey Jay, how did that go? Because once you have an accountability partner, either through yourself, either through your friends or your circle, you want to keep everybody abreast of what's going on. Because if these are my clarity and purpose checkers, right? They're going to check me on what's not really manifesting in my life. And because I have trusted people and God is blessing with these people, I am allowed to stay the course. Because here's the thing, the race isn't given to the swift nor the strong, but those who can endure. So it's not a race about how fast you run. It's not about the race on how strong you are. The race is about, can you endure? And the more you surround yourself around people who are endurers, who are go-getters, who are elevators, who are like they're shape movers and shakers, it allows you to be hungry about enduring. Now, for example, is I had a setback at the beginning of the summer, and I told Natalie about it, that I was expecting X amount of dollars for my summer, and it did not come. So now, July 1st, I'm starting from scratch again about getting things in order. Now, is that what I planned it to be? No, but I know that sometimes in your race, you might get a hurdle in there. You might get something that's really thrown as a distraction. But for me, it's not about how fast I run the race. It's really about my level of endurance. And when you start thinking about the goal, when you start thinking about the level of manifestation you want in your life, you start to really focus on, hey, this is where I want to be, right? This is the end of the light at the end of the tunnel. Because sometimes it's dark, you can't see what's around you, but you have to get to the end of the tunnel because you have to stay the course. So, what is about that your course that you have to endure? I don't know what it is for you. I just know what happens to me sometimes. But guess what? I'm not going to get up. I'm going to revamp myself, to pivot because I know that I'm destined for greatness. That's not a question about that. I know I'm meant to reach a millionaire status. There's no question about that. I know I'm made to sit before great men. I know I'm meant for my business to be at a multi-million dollar status. I know that part. But the journey is what's the part that's really going to set you apart. How you react to life is how you're going to handle it. If you don't know how to really check yourself in the midst of struggle, if you know how to check yourself in the midst of pain, you're going to find yourself really, oh man, once I take one step forward, I take two steps back. Like, why is that our reality when it doesn't have to be? That mindset does not operate with someone who has clarity and purpose. And once you start to identify those triggers that cause you to fall back from your purpose, you gotta quickly, all right, let me pivot, because I don't want this one little stumbling block to cause you to miss out on the great harvest that's on the other side of the next three steps that I take.
I gotta pause for a second. Whew. Power in the pause. That was so good. And I love that you're talking about finishing, which is so funny because this week I started this book called Finish that my good friend Lori Keaton mentioned to me months ago. Way months ago, her and I did a podcast and we were talking about finishing, and she talked about this book. And I purchased the book then, and I said I don't want to start the book because I know I have so many other books that I need to finish before I start this book. But this week I had the urge to start it, and I'm already down 5 chapters. I've only took a day to read it, but one more day and I should be done. But one thing he talks about is that perfectionism is the chief opposition to finishing the race. And a lot of times we are all looking to do things perfectly and we don't get it done and just put it out there. And just something simple as when we want to post a reel on Instagram, and we go in the reel and we tweak it and we're like, oh, we don't like this, and we delete it and we try to do it again, and it takes us 7 hours because we're wanting it to be perfect instead of getting it done. So I have a content coach, Star Shamar Cox, and she always talks about, I want you to start and tweak along the way.
Yeah.
And we don't ever do that. We want to make sure it's perfect before we implement, and we never get started or we never finish anything. Our goals don't get accomplished. And one thing he said that I took away and I started implementing right away was cut those goals in half or double the time. So if you set a goal to say, I'm going to finish something within the next, or I'm going to hit my 10K status within 6 months, double the goal and say, I'm going to hit my 10K status in a year. You know what I mean? The point is to finish the thing, to accomplish the thing. It's not to be perfect. And we're always looking for perfection instead of getting this thing done. And when we realize, let me tell you, once I realized, implementing certain things, once I started doing things. So I'm gonna show y'all. I have my list. This is what I do every single week, right? So I write a list of things at the beginning of the week, what I should be accomplishing for that week. And then as I accomplish it, I cross it out, the little serotonin and dopamine shot that I get in my brain. I'll be so excited. But I've noticed that it shifted where I was hitting 90% of my goals to now in the summer 60%, 75%. And then I just started getting like upset with myself. But then I realized, oh no, Natalie, that's that perfectionism showing up again, because perfectionism will cause me to not write the list at all. Because I didn't hit my goal of 90% like I wanted to. The next week going into it, it's like, you ain't even hit your goal. What's the point of writing the list down anyway? And now that I recognize that thought, I can quickly shoot it down and say, no, no, no. 50% or more, 75% is still better than zero. You know what I mean? It's still a way for you to organize your thoughts. I'm getting most of it done. And isn't that better than getting none of it done at all? And so it just reshifts my focus and it helps me to get those things done. It's not about being perfect, because the one thing about perfection is you can perfect it along the way, but you want to make sure you get started and get finished.
Yeah, that's really good. I think an important part about really learning and growing is you have to take moments to celebrate your accomplishments. Mind you, I told you I was binge watching Housewives. I mean, real R&B, or no, Hollywood Divas, right? So I'm laughing when Countess Vaughn had got this. She got a 360 lipo, right? And so this one girl saying, "Oh, she looked good, but I don't really see a difference." But Countess Vaughn felt the difference, right? What happened is she started to celebrate herself and started to go away from the naysayers. There are certain times in life where you really have to start celebrating. You have to choose to celebrate yourself. You have to choose to make moments where, you know what, I didn't make the 1,000 a day, but you know what, I made $20. Let me celebrate that growth. Hey, I didn't work out the full hour, but I worked out 5 minutes. Hey, I didn't get a chance to clean my whole house, but you know what though, I made my bed today. There are certain things where you have to start celebrating yourself, because if you don't celebrate yourself, you're gonna find out that a lot of there's so much negativity going on that when you choose not to celebrate yourself, it kind of puts you down a bit. So I've learned during my journey is to really celebrate myself along the journey. But then as I celebrate myself, okay, let me increase the stamina for tomorrow. Okay, so I got 25% today. Guess what? I'm going for at least 26% tomorrow. And then, let me challenge myself to 30% today. You have to learn how to build up that momentum, because it's easy to lose momentum when you don't take the strength and the time to build it up. right? So just I was reading something. I was kind of put some steps together, and just a quick 10 steps about really simple ways to stay on course. The first one is release the urge to chase the next adrenaline buzz. Sometimes it's so easy for us to be so excited about being excited, but then after a while, the momentum dies down. You have to get to a place where you create your own adrenaline, that you make sure that the consistency is there. So it's important not to always chase the rush of something. Next thing after that, you want to make sure. Oh, someone's calling me right now. Sorry about that. Like I'm doing something right now. The first one is the adrenaline rush. Second thing is that you want to be aware of. You want to make sure. Wait, I'm looking for my screen, my notes. Sorry about that. Second thing is you want to filter out all the distractions. Think about cooking. Let's say if I'm making something like a certain type of sauce, or if I'm juicing, the purpose of the filter and the juicer is to really extract all the goodness that you need from whatever you're doing. But if you keep like not filtering yourself, you're gonna keep being bothered by distractions. So you want to filter all the distractions. Next one is you want to learn from others, but do your own thing. Now, Natalie may give me advice about something, but of course, me, I'm gonna listen, but I'm still gonna add my own personal flair to them, add my own different thing. Like Natalie and I, we're writing a book right now, and we're adding our own components to it. It's the same topic, but we're adding our different components to it. So you want to be able to learn from others, but also do your own thing. Say your goodbyes. Whatever is bothering you in your life that's not really is that's hindering you, you have to be okay with saying goodbye to those things that are not serving you in this season. It's not saying that I won't see you soon, but right now I gotta say bye bye because I want to make sure that I'm not stunning my growth by allowing things that are not serving me to keep bothering me. Next one is don't look back. If you remember when the angel had said to Lot's wife, "Don't look back," she was so stuck on what she was losing that she didn't realize that what was ahead of her was so great. So she wasn't able to even go into the future because her mindset was so shifted back. What type of mindsets do you need to let go of? You need to get rid of to go to the next level because sometimes it's the art of moving forward that you need to happen. Like people get mad at me because I'm quick to move on. It's a bad thing. It's just that what is it in the past? It didn't serve me. So let me move forward to accomplish those things. And another thing is think positive. No matter how it looks, you have to think positive. You always have to see the glass as half full and not half empty. Another one is stay strong. You can get up early in the morning. You want to meditate. You want to read stuff that's positive. Write thoughts in your journal. Practice positive affirmation. Today I spent 20 minutes on my affirmations. Healthy diet, exercise, drink a lot of water, reduce caffeine. Find support groups about what you're looking to do. If I'm learning how to deal from stress, let me find a group that really supports stress reduction. Trust the journey, trust the process. You also want to stop chasing money, let the money chase you. That's the biggest thing as Black entrepreneurs and as African Americans, we're quick to chase money. Once you get that job, you get $20 an hour. Okay, I got to work X amount of dollars to get this, and I got to do this, do that. And we are mathematicians when it comes to like that paycheck. And it's like, wait, let me love what I do and allow the money to chase me because money does attract to what you wanted to do, right? And then the last one is discipline. Keeping discipline will help you really go to the next level, but you have to resist the urge to chase the next adrenaline buzz and find fulfillment in the moment. The more you start to find fulfillment in the now, the things that was once so exciting, you start to realize that, hey, I'm so trying to be to level 10. I didn't enjoy level one. There's blessings in level one, there's blessings in level two, there's blessings in level three. But if you're jumping just to get to like that end goal, you miss the blessings of like my mom always says, if you're too busy to look at the clouds, that means you're too busy. Like if you're too busy to enjoy the simple things that God has placed strategically in your life to learn from, that means you're too busy to take a moment to say, hey, let me pause and reflect. What's needed for now? What's needed in the season right now? And once you start to do those 10 principles, life just really starts to change for you.
I love those. I actually really love those principles. I was like, I'm gonna have to go back and listen to the replay so I could take notes because I couldn't do it and write at the same type at the same time. But one thing you did say constantly is chasing the adrenaline rush.
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of my clients, that is the thing that causes them to walk out of clarity and walk right into chaos and confusion.
Mm-hmm.
Is that they don't, once they start taking a course of action, and think about it, once you start a new relationship, it's nice and it's beautiful and it's intoxicating, but after a time, those feelings wear off, and then you're trying to go back and chase that initial feeling. But what we don't realize as human beings is our feelings are valid and accurate to our thoughts. And so we are chasing something that we used to be thinking about. We
Mm-hmm.
used to think that this person was the best thing since sliced bread. We used to think that this idea was wonderful. And until we got into that mode of constantly grinding and going through, our thoughts change. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why our feelings change. But we can bring those feelings back. Instead of chasing the feeling, we can actually create the feeling by
That's
the thoughts
good.
that we're thinking. And so if you want to feel excited about the idea that you had, think about how exciting it is to get the end result. That's why in all of my programs, we start with the end first, the vision first. I think it's Stephen Covey that coined the first habit of highly effective people is
Mhm.
begin with the end in mind. What's
That's
the
good.
vision? And having that vision at the forefront, I mean, for sometimes it can be overwhelming because you're like, oh my gosh, I get paralysis, I don't know what to do. But many times when you do have a course of action, having that vision ahead of you constantly reminds you why the course of action you're taking is the best decision that you made. And
Mm-hmm.
so sticking with that, sticking with one at a time. I tell my clients, start with one and the overflow will come. Stop trying to chase another great idea, because great ideas are usually the killer of the great idea you already have before that you are in the middle of implementing. And I'm just even sitting here talking right now, Chef J, I was like, man, we got to go back and fix that podcast. We got to go back and do the
Mm-hmm.
things, like I have to go back and make sure I put a bow on a lot of these things, because
That's
I'll let
good.
a new idea come in and take my focus away from something that was going great. But because I didn't feel like it anymore, I decided to move away to some other feeling that I was chasing. So
Yeah, that's good. I like you said that you got to tie a bow on some things. There's certain gifts that we haven't finished wrapping, and you wonder why no one wants your gift or your service because you haven't presented it, in a way that's appealing to others. Like it's just like one of my clients. He's so gifted and so talented, but the concern that I have is just that he doesn't have follow through. Follow through with things you're supposed to do, and just dressing it up makes a big difference. And that was such a good analogy you gave about the bow part, because you can't expect people to want to receive your gift if you don't dress it up as a gift. One thing I realized too is because, like, God has given us all gifts and talents and abilities, right? And when you think about those gifts and those talents, I want to make sure, because I know it's a gift, I want to always present it as such. And so oftentimes we show up sloppy to the marketplace, we show up sloppy to life, sloppy to the day, sloppy to work, sloppy to kids, sloppy to your family, and you wonder why nobody wants to support you. Your presentation of your gifting is trash. So you can't expect people to want to keep buying into something that doesn't look good. It's like a restaurant or a product or a place that was, oh, remember that food used to be so good over there? I don't know what happened to it. Remember that place used to be this? Man, I don't know what happened to it, because they stopped taking the importance of providing quality to what they're doing. Like, I love the fact that I'm blessed with an amazing clientele. When something is off, they're like, Jay, we love you, but this was off. And I'm saying, I apologize. Let me get another chance to make it right. And once you start to really always go back and make things right, go back and really finish the touch of it. Like for me, whenever I do food, like even somebody booked me today, like 2 hours ago for tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, what's the colors? What do you like to eat? What's this? What was their wedding colors? This was my anniversary. I'm thinking that deep about what I'm about to do, because I know that someone is about to, let's say somebody made $20 an hour and I charge $2,000 for a service for a 1 day event. I got to think, how many hours, you're not even talking about after taxes, how many hours does this person have to work to pay me to provide a service to them? How should I show up to the marketplace when people are working hard to give you their money? And I want to make sure when they come, I give them above and beyond so they know that they feel special. They felt that, wow, he really thought about everything that's going to make tonight successful. When it comes to your goals, when it comes to your dreams, and I'm not gonna nobody listen. If you talking about work, if you talking about parenthood, whoever you serve in your life, you are a gift to them and they are a gift to you. So how do you show up with your presentation? Presentation quality means everything. Before I put out food, I'm going to look at the plate. I'm going to see, do I have a garnish on there? Do I have a sauce? Do I have, is the plate wiped? Is the stuff dirty? Because I want to make sure that I'm giving people, I'm putting, like Natalie said, putting a bow on those unfinished items in my life. And I think what we all should do as we reflect on, growth and transparency, what are you doing today in your personal life that's actually going to need some more attention? What are those things in your life that is going to need an update? iPhones, I love iPhones. They give you that update all the time. And in that update, there's something different. But here's the thing. When there's an update, you have to adjust to the newness of that update. So when it comes to you and what you have to pivot and update in your life, you got to quickly adjust because you don't want to waste time trying to say, oh, I can't do this. This is too hard. I'm not computer savvy. My mom wasn't a good mom. I don't know how to be a mom. My dad was a bad dad. I don't know how to be. Like, we all have excuses, but you still have to go back to finish your course, find out what are those missing pieces. Because if you never take time to do the math of 1 + 1, you're never going to get to 2. You still wonder about, man, what's 1 + 1? When the answer is right in front of you, use the resources that God is currently giving you to go to the next level, because you will still be at point A when it's like, God is like, yo, it's time to go to B, C, D, like all of that. But you're so stuck on not updating your skill set, not updating your resume, not even cleaning out the phone storage so you can make new content on your phone, not taking time to clean your fridge out so you can have time to see what's going bad in your life. Like, all of these things are important. Like, quality control is going to thing that bring quality into your life.
Listen. That presentation is key for me. Oh my gosh. This is something that I struggled with in the beginning because I thought that I could show up as myself, as the other version of me. And because I knew who I was and how powerful I am, you got to accept me or you not mine. But one day I was watching this one young lady on Instagram, and she had no makeup on, and I could not for the love of me focus. I was like, what? Oh, she got them dark circles under her eye. Look, I see a blemish. And I mean, I'm flawed, I'm gonna tell y'all. And I'm not the type of person that focus on people's looks, but because that's the first thing that I saw with my eyes, and Instagram is very visual, I could not focus because now that another time I saw her with makeup on, and I was like, I sat there and I watched and I listened, and her content is phenomenal. So now it doesn't matter because I've already pulled in by her content. She could have makeup on or not. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter to me because I've already been captivated. But you have to realize that the majority of people stop because of what they see, but they move because of what they're experiencing. So they'll stop to engage with you because of what they see. And if what they see is not appealing to their eyesight and their visuals, they're going to move on. This is one of the reasons why I had to start wearing a blazer at my meetings. Even though I'm comfortable with my clients, even though I'm comfortable with my audience, I have to present myself because I am a business coach. I have to present myself as a business coach. And when you think of the word business, you think of blazer, you think of 3-piece suits. And I know that there are people out here that are doing it without that. But when you are unknown to the people that you are called to, sometimes you have to capture their attention by visualization techniques, using that presentation to captivate them first. And then once you hook them in, you can, whatever. There's some people on their platforms, they wear, like Mark Zuckerberg wear the same t-shirt all the time, or there's other people that making billions of dollars and they show up however they want, and people are captivated by their voice or by what they're saying in their content because they have already put the time in and made traction. But when you are coming into a space You hear me? When you are coming into a new space and you want to be identified, you got to know. This is why when you look at the Where's Waldo, he always has the same outfit, because we're trying to identify Waldo in the middle of all this stuff that's
Yeah.
going on. So we know he got the red and white stripe. We know he got the hat. We know he got the glasses. And when when you have the Where's Waldo book, the first page, you're like, okay, where's Waldo? I got to find him. I can't find him. By the time you get to the 10th page, you're like, here you go. He's right here. You can pick him out because you already have the identifying factors. This is what our presentation does for us.
That's
It
good.
makes us stand out because we already know how powerful we are, especially if you are a kingdom entrepreneur. God is with you. There's nobody and nothing can be against you, but we have to make it easy, as my content coach says. Make it easy for people to see you. It's Holy Spirit job to bring them to you. She always says this, start your markups, but you have to make it easy for them to find you. And presentation is key.
That's good.
We gotta step up our game. We really have to.
Yeah, that's so good. I know for me, no matter how I feel, I spend at least an hour a day on content. I don't care what's going on. I don't care where I'm at. I don't care who I'm around. People know that I am a content creator. I'm going to stay editing content. The reason why, I don't care how good you are at your craft, even if you have a large clientele, it don't hurt to get some new clients, because new clients bring new energy. And sometimes new clients keep you on your toes. They keep you more wanting more. And I got to think about it too, is because I'm gifted in a lot of different areas. I have to always post different styles of content. Like even too, the other day, it was so funny. Natalie, I posted a video of these cupcakes, right? And so it's funny. Now, Natalie's known me for 23 years. And Natalie's like, Josh, I didn't know you bake. And I'm like, Natalie, you was there when I first started my first business.
I
But the
know.
thing about it is, it doesn't matter how good you are at something. If you don't put it before the people, how do they know? Staying the course means sometimes you have to revisit old things. So for me, when it comes to content, I'm always going to post everything that I do, not just one thing. And some people like, oh, we got to find your niche. My niche is food, period. Anything around food, that's my niche, right? So for me, I'm gonna post dessert stuff because, for example, is the thing that you saw, Natalie. I charge somebody like 150 for that. So for me, I have to post different things because different things bring different resources. So for example, now people actually, somebody hit me about that cake. I got to order for that, two of them tomorrow, because they're like, oh man, I want that. I forgot you baked. So the thing about it is, if you're not always updating your content, if you're not always updating your skill set, if you're not always bringing you to the forefront and say, hey, no, I'm here. Like I love when there's some people get tired of people like this when they always overshare who they are. No, I'm letting you know who I am, what I bring to the table. Because guess what? When I'm not around and you need something, oh, Josh is about that. Josh does that. Oh, Josh does that too. Oh, we got the whole full package. So the thing about it is, you want to always be clear, to always remind yourself to go back to the basics, to go back to those beginner phases, go back to the moments you need. Because the thing about it is, if you don't keep going back and reminding the world who you are, it's going to be easy to forget. People are busy with their own life. So if you don't always keep reintroduce, like P Diddy has reintroduced himself so many different times. Puff Daddy, P Diddy, now his name is Love, but he's still the same person. But he's bringing you different energy to connect to that generation. That's why P Diddy has expanded through like this past generation about always staying relevant. His song "Act Bad" last summer was another song. He has had a song out the last 30 years of his career. So it's like when you think about that, you want to stay relevant. And sometimes the reason why you're not making no money because you're not being relevant to the new people you're called to, because you're busy trying to get those people that ain't supporting your stuff. Like I never get mad at family and friends who don't buy stuff from me because they're not my client. But once you start to realize that guy had, and sometimes too, they won't even support you in a level that you need. So be okay with that not being your audience. Find your target audience and always appeal to them. Appeal to those who want to buy from you. But guess what? You'll never know who wants to buy from you if you keep keeping your gifts to yourself. When there was the parable about the talents, the man who buried it was scolded. He said, "You could at least invested it. You didn't even invest what I've given you to get some type of reward or some type of increase from it. So you can't be afraid to invest in yourself, invest in the gift that God has given you. Because how will people know you exist if you always are quiet, if you always are saying, "Oh man, content is so hard for me. Canva is too hard for me. I can't learn Canva. Oh man, learning about Chat GPT is so hard for me. I don't want to learn about AI. AI is going to take the world." But listen, while it's taking the world, I'm gonna manage it to take care to make sure I get my portion of the takeover.
Hello, that's what I'm talking about. Get my portion of that takeover. And I love what you said. People are talking themselves out of their millions.
Mhm.
Like God will, or somebody would say, you can make $1 million, or God will put that in your heart. Like, yeah, I want more. I want 6 figures. But we are the ones that talk ourselves out of it. It's too hard. It's going to take too long. I'm too old. Like, we talk ourselves out of the things that we really want. And because we are just afraid to I just feel like fear is that thing that's holding many of us back because we're afraid to go deeper. And I know you're gonna lose some people. We always talk about that, and the reality is you will lose some people. You will lose some people that are closest to you. You will lose the applaud and the praise of some people. But there's some people who love to see you at your lowest. It makes them feel better about their low. I had a friend, a couple of people that used to be like, oh, did you hear what someone was doing? Did you hear what someone was doing? I'm glad I'm not humble like that. And it's just like, why you keep bringing bad news? But I quickly realized it justified her lack of confidence. So people want to see you stagnant, especially when you talk a big game, because it justifies their lack of movement. But you got to let go of that, because when we actually, and this is one thing, when you actually decide that you're going to pursue your highest self, the person that was talking about the people that not moving and they justified them not moving, they're going to see you and say, you know what, if you can do it, I can do it. If Natalie can go and write a book, I can go and write a book. If Chef J could go ahead and put out content like that, I can put out content like that. And it forces them to step up and become their higher self. It forces them to evolve into the person that God knows them to be. But now they have no excuse. So we have to now be this deciding factor. Are you going to pursue? And it's not for them, but they're benefiting by the fact that we are becoming who we were always meant to be. So that's all I got. Oh, I do have one last thing, since you already brought up the book. Listen, Chef J and I are writing this amazing book, The Power of Clarity and Purpose, Unleashing Your Full Potential. If you guys want to get this book, I want you to DM us pre-order, and we will put you on the waiting list, because when the book launches, you will be the first ones to get access to the book. It's called The Power of Clarity and Purpose, Unleashing Your Full Potential. So if you feel like you have been stuck, you don't understand what your purpose is in life, or you like, I know what my purpose is, but there's so many distractions, I am really unclear which avenue to pursue, then you want to DM us pre-order so that you can get first access to this book when we launch it. That's all.
Yeah, I'm so excited about this book because what we've been talking about, and I just think I'm at a point now where it's just that pivot to prosper. That's the only way to do it, and a lot of times too is a lot of us are going through the same thing, you know. So for me, it's like let's motivate each other to really get the job done, and books are a great way to do that. So whatever skill set you are really trying to achieve, whatever is bothering you, whatever is causing you to stop, being an achiever, to stop you from being consistent, find it and nip it in the butt, because you'll never be able to get to the next level worrying about the past, worrying about what's not going right. Like, I have to focus on finishing my course. We all have our own race, we all have our own fight, but it's time to make sure we are completers of the task, because we'll never enjoy the end result if we never start. We all have our own start, we all have our journey, but until we actually take time to say, hey, this is the end of the tunnel right there. This is my goal. So let me go back and genuinely really write down the process of getting there. What do I need to achieve? What I want to get to my life. If you keep talking about, like, I really just like when people talk. This week, last week, I had a conversation with someone, and they got really upset with me because they said, you always cut me off when I'm talking about this. I said, do you know that you've been talking about the same issue for about 3 years? I said, so for me, I gave you grace to listen to you, but you're not really making the same changes to really accomplish your goal. So because I'm not a garbage can, because you didn't even see if I was okay to even hear your drama, I have to cut you off because you're not really trying to have growth in this area. So I can no longer allow you to put your lack of energy of being a success. I can't deal with that. So for me, it's like I got my own issues. So I have to worry about progression and what's going to help me get to the next level. And sometimes you have to put it, you have to dead situations that are not serving. You have to dead um, concepts that don't serve where you're going. And it's okay. Like it's no shade to anybody. For me, I'm aware of what works for me and what doesn't work for me. And the sooner you get to the process of staying in the will of God for your life, staying in close proximity to positivity. I like to be on target on areas in my life for everything that is going to benefit me for the positive. If it is not benefiting me, it is okay to say, hey, this does not work for me. Until you learn how to really put an immediate stop to drama and stuff that does not belong to you, you will still keep going through the same issues over and over again. You cannot thrive in a cemetery where it's full of dead things. You cannot thrive in areas of negativity and negative people. So for me, I choose to be very much so when I'm working on something, if you don't have that same belief system or greater, or you have any type of beliefs or you're not really trying to work towards something, I cannot be around you because I have to make sure that my circle is full of positive energy, positive vibes. And it's not saying I want to live in a fantasy. Well, hey, no, I do want to live in a fantasy world because I get to create where I want to be. Like you create your own fantasies, you create the life you want to live. And until you learn how to dwell in those fantasies until they become a reality, you're going to keep thinking, oh, that's not for me. Oh, that's not real. Oh, that's not true. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I can't do that. Listen, you can do whatever you put your mind to do. If you can believe it, that means God gave you the gift to believe. So let me work on it. Let me work on it. Let me actively achieve those things. And so if you're looking for coaching, guys, please reach out to us in our DMs about clarity and purpose. Also, too, guys, look out for that book. Like Natalie said, DM us about being on the waiting list for our first drop of The Power of Clarity and Purpose, Unleashing Your Full Potential. And that's what it's time to do. We have 6 more months left of this year. What do you want the 6 months to look like? What goals do you want to achieve? What do you want to change? What do you want to grow? What do you want to develop? It's all up to you. But we can't make you be a better you. You have to want that for yourself. And so, guys, have a wonderful week on purpose. Thank you for tuning in to B.O.S.S.Up Talks. Week number 61, over a year strong. And we just thank you guys for just showing in and just like and share this post. Guys, share the feed wherever you know. Send it to 5 people in your stories or posting your stories. Send it to 5 people in their DMs. Text some people because guess what? We all need a little encouragement. All right. So have a good week on purpose.
Bye.